Yes. I'm recording right now. Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, How the Young Learner Brain Learns and Dopamine Boosting Activities. My name is Karen Valenzuela, and I'm really happy that you are here with us today. With me is my colleague Andrea Sanhueza, who will be leading today's lecture. We are really honored to have you here, on behalf of Learning Academy and Capacitación USACH for this insightful session, which is part of the diploma program, Estrategias Metodológicas para la Enseñanza del Inglés como Herramienta Comunicativa Integral. We hope you gain valuable insights today and find inspiration for your teaching practices. Let's dive into this fascinating topic together, and thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank you, Karen. Welcome, everyone. I'm very excited about this opportunity to be here and talk to you guys about something that I feel passionate about. So to start, if you could scan the QR code on the corner of the screen, that would be very, very helpful.
If you don't have access to the code, you can write the answer in the chat. Yes. But don't worry if you cannot access yet. I'm still letting people in.
It's okay.
That's the question. If you cannot access the code, you can tell us how you are feeling today, because as we're talking about dopamine and everything is connected, we want to ask how you are feeling today. If you cannot scan the code and if it's not working, please write your answer in the chat, okay? So we can see how you are feeling today. Don't worry if you cannot scan it, you can write the answer about how you are feeling today. So we would like to know, before we start our session, how you are feeling today. So here we have a number 8. Oh, number 3, Alejandra. Number 1, number 3. Number 3, oh, anxiety. If you cannot access the code, please.
Anxiety. If you cannot access the code, you feel free.
Number 9 too. There's a number 9. Number 3. You see a lot of number 3 today. Many people are writing in the chat, Andrea. So just for you to know. So it's not, if you cannot see it, there you have more.
More answers, yay. Okay,
3.
so there are a lot of, okay, so we're happy and anxious.
And
happy
also,
and anxious to start.
Yes. Also a little shy, I think, number 9.
Number 9? Okay, yes, 3 people.
Yeah, and number 8 too.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
happy we don't have 7s.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
Okay, for the ones that are feeling number 5, I hope today's lesson, by the end, you can feel happy or excited. Okay, can you let me know when you think?
Yes, we can. Yes, we're all good to move on.
Okay, we're good to start? Ooh,
yes,
okay.
Very good to start. Yeah.
Okay, we have more anxious people. Okay,
yes.
That's like my base working guy here. Like 90% of the time, he's on charge. So I'm with you guys. I'm with you.
We're
okay.
All
So,
with you. And
very happy. Yes.
Yeah, just before to start, just want to tell people that, well, we have seen some of your names, but please write your name in the chat so at the so we can get later your certificate of participation in this webinar. And also there is a surprise for you at the end of this webinar, so please stay tuned. And before you start, Andre, I want to welcome Cristina Araya from Capacitación USACH, who I know is somewhere probably here. In the group, there is a big group. We have 69 people and still people joining us. Okay.
Excellent. That's
Yes.
good news. Yay.
Yes. So please write your name in the chat and stay tuned until the end. I'm not saying this because Andrea is my colleague, but she will offer you a beautiful insight on how the brain works. And we really hope you enjoy this webinar. Okay. So Andre, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I'm very excited, as I said before. And I feel very passionate about the brain. I love it. Okay, so here are some of the things we're going to do today. First, we're going to talk about some numbers about the brain, very briefly, don't worry. Taking care of children's brain, very important. Mostly it's not up to us, it's up to the families, but it's a good thing that we know, so we can share the knowledge with the families. And also we'll see some tips to help fix some of these things that we need from the families, okay? Then we'll talk very briefly about brain-based learning, dopamine and learning, and ideas for dopamine-boosting activities at the very end. And as Karen said at the beginning, stay tuned. Wait until the very, very end, because there's going to be a little surprise. And make sure to write your name so we can get your certificate. Okay, so let's begin. The brain by numbers. Okay, so everything starts when we're in our mother's womb, okay? So 250,000 cells per minute are created during pregnancy, right? Then when the baby is when the baby is born, its size is 25% compared to an adult brain, okay? Until they're 3 months old, the brain grows 1% daily. Now, since the baby is born until we reach 2 years, 700 connections per second are created. By the time we're 2 old, so there are 50 more connections than in an adult's brain. So, you know, the brain is working very hard, sparkling all over. Then when the child is 3, it is twice as active as an adult brain. Then from age 2 to 10, we experience something called synaptic pruning. So the brain reinforces the good connections, what is very, very useful for each of us, for the kids, and it gets rid of weak connections, okay? And by the time we're 5, our brain is 90% grown, almost full size, okay? So knowing this, we know the brain is different in our kids. It's very active, very capable, and it's working very, very fast, okay? They're learning super quickly. It is beautiful. Anyway, let's move on to what we need the families to do so we can have a ready-to-learn brain in our classroom. These things are not up to us to do, but it's up for the families to install, okay? So love and security, nutrition, sleep, exercise and play, emotional management, socialization, and limited screen time. If families could manage to tick all of these requirements, then we'll have this perfect brain ready to learn brain in our classroom, okay? That's not the reality in most of the cases. Some things are 100% the family's responsibilities, and there are some others that we can help aid situations, okay? We can go to the rescue as teachers usually do. Alrighty. So, first of all, we're going to go through 4 of these things that we as teachers cannot really manage in the classroom, okay? And almost at the end of the presentation, I'll give you some tips, or maybe you can help us creating tips to cover the rest. So anyway, taking care of children's brain, first, love and security. If our kids don't feel loved and secured, they won't be able to learn. Their brain will try to cover this issue first, and it will disconnect itself from learning, okay? Now, love and security can be tricky because we can have like a very healthy relationship with our parents or whoever is taking care of the kids, or maybe we have some overprotective parents, which is not very good for the brain and for the kids. Okay, I'll explain why very briefly. When we feel loved and secure, the hippocampus starts working and connecting feelings and emotions and learning and memory, and you relate love and affection in a very safe environment, right? If you have overprotective parents who solve everything for you, even before you think you need to solve something, then only the amygdala is taking place. It's like, okay, I cannot do this. That's why my parents keep helping me, and I should always be alert, but no, I'm not going to be able to fix it because I'm not given the opportunity, because my overprotective parents are going to fix everything for me. Right? So as teachers, it's very important to tell our parents. For instance, a good example is when you ask for materials to be brought from home to do a project at school, and the kids forget the Play-Doh or the scissors or whatever it is. And, you know, you told them beforehand if they didn't get the material, they wouldn't get the whole points for that lesson. And then the overprotective parents go and say, it's my fault, I forgot to put it, or I left it on the kitchen table. Please reconsider, lowering the score for my kid. If they're not allowed to make mistakes and see what happens, they will never learn that it's okay to make mistakes and that they have the tools to solve anything, right? According to their age, of course. So there's something we can tell our parents. You can love them, but be careful with overprotecting them, okay? Then nutrition. Of course, our brain needs nutrients. It needs sugar, it needs vitamins, all sorts. Okay, and here you can see a survey, and you can see the kids that score A, B, C's, and D's and F's related to if the student had breakfast or if they ate vegetables during the previous week. And it is pretty obvious that if you have breakfast, you will do better. And remember to keep the brain hydrated. I mean, not only the brain, but yourself, because the brain consumes 5% of the water we drink daily, and it's made out of 75% of water, okay? And more water, more oxygen, and it helps your brain flow. Alrighty. Sleep, very important. The time of sleep kids need will depend on their age. The younger they are, the more hours of sleep they need. But it could vary between 9 and 13 hours. Yes, when they're in a very young school age, okay? So what happens is just like in the movie Inside Out, at nighttime when you're sleeping, these two guys start working their shift, right? And they're called the forgetters. So they go through every memory you've made during the day, and they decide whether it's worth keeping or if they're going to get rid of this memory. Okay, so imagine you're practicing piano and it wasn't a very good session, but when you're asleep, your brain will start replaying the session, and next day you actually do better because you replayed the practice lesson while you were sleeping. Okay, but if you cut that night shift short, your brain won't be able to complete the process. So you'll forget more stuff. And if you get less hours of sleep than you're supposed to, the next day you will probably lose even 40% of your ability to learn new things. So you start forgetting things from the previous day if you don't sleep well, and your brain won't be able to learn as much as kids who had a good night's sleep. Okay, so that's why sleep is so important. And the last thing that only parents can help us with is limit the time they spend on any type of screen, either phones or video games, computers, laptop, TV, you name it. Okay, so the thing is, when you start overusing screen, your cortex is going to get thinner and thinner. Okay, so we have these two images because we have addicted kids to screens, right? We have a healthy brain sparkling up, functioning very well, and then you have an addicted brain who doesn't sparkle as much, okay? And that is because your cortex gets thinner. Now, this will happen if you're older, that's normal. If you get Alzheimer, dementia, and if you're a drug abuser. Okay, those were the things scientists knew about the thinning process. It happened in those kind of scenarios. But nowadays, they're studying, and there is an undergoing study, very big. Over 210 centers are doing MRIs to kids aged 9 and 10 years old, and they relate their images to the time they spend on any type of screen. Okay, so the same process of thinning the cortex is taking place when they're always with their cell phones or playing video games on computers or tablets. So if they're using screen, they are thinning their cortex. It's just like giving them drugs. That's how bad it is. It's not, it's okay if you use it wisely and if you teach your kids to use it wisely, but you have to definitely lower the amount of time they spend in front of the screen, okay? Because it's dangerous. It's not, oh my goodness. I hope you could see, I mean, you can actually see how damaging it is for your brain. So we have to transmit the same message to our parents and to help them get tools like family. There's free apps for them to control the time and the places they can access. with their phones or laptops, okay? Okay, sorry. Because I have talked a lot, we'll do some exercises now and try to follow the girl you're going to see now on the screen.
Andrea, sorry, we don't see any images on the screen.
You don't? Oh my
No.
goodness.
No. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm watching the video that you are.
Yes, you were?
Yes.
I
Yes.
can see.
Okay, tap and sweep. Tap with one hand. If you cannot see the image, you have to tap with one hand and sweep with the other. Sweep and tap at the same time. Very different. Okay, second exercise is your thumb and your pinky, and then you have to change. Okay, as fast as you can. As fast as you can. Okay, just try to do that as fast as you can. One thumb and your pinky, and then same the other side. Now, the third exercise is drawing a circle with one hand and a triangle with the other hand. Okay, this is okay, the infinity movement. You have to draw some sort of aid with both of your hands and trying to imagine that both hemispheres are connecting while you're doing this. Both hands in front of you. You do a circle going backward and a circle going forward with the other arm. One arm is going backward, the other one is coming forward. Okay, how did you do? Was it difficult?
Very difficult.
Yes, yes, it was.
Managed to
Okay.
do one. That was it.
My goodness. I mean, I can barely do the circle and triangle thing, like very slowly, very badly as well. Okay, so why do we need a break? Oh my goodness, brain breaks. This is why brain breaks are so important. So our kids, very young learners maybe, their attention span equals to their age plus 2 minutes. Okay, and there's a 30-minute like talk. You cannot pay attention for more than 30 minutes. Like fully, like all your emotions, all your mind, you know, everything, you're giving everything for as long as your age plus 2 minutes. Okay, so bear that in mind, because you might have little kids that are just sitting down, but they have wandered off like long time ago. So every once in a while during your class, you need a brain break. Either a song or we're going to stretch. Yes. there are plenty of examples you can get from the internet. Okay, the age plus 2 minutes, 30 minutes stop. So as grown-ups, if you're older than 28, we can only pay attention for 30 minutes, like fully concentrate. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now brain-based learning sounds very obvious, but in the 90s, apparently it wasn't so obvious. We as teachers know that everything happens in the brain. Okay, now there are 12 principles for the brain-based learning. You could find the link at the end of the presentation. But Dr. Bobby Hansen described 4 principles for the brain-based learning, okay? The experience. We can reshape our brain with new experiences, okay? We're reshaping, we're rewiring our brain. Our classes should be a class of English. It should be sticky. It should something that is easy to learn, that is easy to relate. There should be fun parts that they can relate to. Okay, and of course, experiences like this, when we can learn a bit more about the brain, or we can share what we do, what we know, it also helps us to be updated and, you know, ready to teach as well, because they need to be ready to learn, but we should also be ready to learn. I mean, to teach. Okay, so brain in 4 teaching practices. We should know how the brain works, and now maybe that we know how important it is to limit the screen time, we can share that information with our families, with our parents at school. We can mention one of these topics in the next teacher-parent meeting. Okay, so every time we do something good and that it feels nice, we get dopamine in our brain. Dopamine is one of the happy neurotransmitters that we got in our brain, okay? And dopamine is especially related to rewards. If we activate the dopamine circuits in our brain, we can also attach the dopamine to feelings, to emotions, and it can travel to our cortex and help us create new ideas, new experiences, new anyway. How it helps us consolidate, because it helps with the feeling structures of our brain and memory and thinking of new ideas, okay? But we have to be very, very careful, because we can do the dopamine effect with rewards, but also from aversion. So some of the things that I really, really hate to see in classrooms are the traffic lights, or using sad faces for kids, or if you're not going to sit down, I'm going to write your name on the board. And yet you get attention from doing something bad. And people know you did something bad because they can see your name either on the red light or they can see your name next to a sad face, or they can see your name just on the board because you're being naughty. So dopamine will help to recall that experience when the kids think about what they're learning. So if they're learning math, for instance, with their parents, like in the old days, with a stick, and if they got something wrong, they got hit, they will relate math to fear, to bad feelings. They will still learn, because all of our parents and grandparents know the timetables, for instance, but maybe that feeling will like come back to you again when you're dealing with math. Okay, so be careful with dopamine when you use it from aversion. Okay, and a cognitive effort, of course, if your brain knows that you had fun, that is a safe environment, and they can relate these emotions to new ideas, because at the end of a process, you learn something new or you got a good grade. That's how dopamine will help this process, okay? So dopamine, emotions, new learning and memory, higher thinking, it's all related. Now, you probably have heard a lot of the Pavlovian experiment, but we're also talking about the instrumental learning experiment, okay? So there were two groups of rats, and this experiment was conducted 2 years ago in 2023, okay? So the Pavlovian experiment, the rat could see the light going on, turning on, and immediately the dopamine spiked. It went up because he knew that after these 5 seconds of this light going on, turning on, the rat would get a treat just because the light turned on. That's it. Just like what we've heard about the dog and the bell and the dribbling, right? The same thing, light, the rat knew, I'm going to get a treat, I can see the treat, and that's it. So a dopamine spike. But how can we get a permanent high or a good level of dopamine? Okay, this is where the instrumental learning takes place, okay? Now, another group of rats during this experiment, they saw the light turning on. They knew they had to wait for 5 seconds until the light turned off, but they had to pull a lever. If they didn't do it, they wouldn't get the treat. So I get the light, my brain knows it's going to get a treat, but also that I have to do something to get the treat, okay? So as you can see the difference, in the Pavlovian experiment, you get a spike, which is good. Spikes of dopamine once in a while, you know, it helps you keeping motivated. But if you have a permanent good level of dopamine, oh my goodness, you can do wonders. And that's how these instrumental learning rats got their treat. They knew they had to do something to get the prize. Okay, remember this. Now, why it is so important to know about these dopamine boosting activities? Because when I started teaching, I thought this was going to be teaching, and it's not. I work with young learners, and sometimes it feels like this. And sometimes you have to have a plan A and B and C. And as much as you learn, as much as you share with your colleagues, new techniques, new methods, new activities, you'll be better prepared to find these new ideas. Okay? Good. So remember, we need dopamine. Now, at the beginning of the presentation, I told you guys that there are things that families had to do that we could not help. Like, we cannot decide when a kid goes to sleep. That's not my territory. That's the guy is in his house. The parents decide whether it's 8 or 9, or is or if the kids have to decide for themselves. Oh my goodness, the stress. Okay, but there are some things that we can help with when they're broken, or if they have a boo-boo, you can put a band-aid. So these ideas are like band-aids for the kids that are not prepared for learning. They're either they don't feel loved. So this is something I do in my classroom. I just print a bunch of nice phrases or words for them either to pick for themselves, or just grab one and give to one of the classmates. They can say like, I love playing with you. You're very good at math. You're loved. I loved your smile. Spread the love. Okay, and they go very quickly. I have to be printing them very often. Okay, and they love it because they either are giving something to themselves, something physical, like a slip of paper, or they can give something to somebody else and show their love or respect, or even to say sorry. I have a phrase like, I'm so sorry for, and they have to finish the sentence when they give that to another classmate. So that's there's a band-aid for love and security. Now, give them access to water. Remember, a hydrated brain will think better. Okay, so either allow them to drink water. My kids usually have a bottle for themselves. If they run out of the water, they're allowed to go and refill it, either inside of the classroom, if you're lucky enough, or make sure and train them to like go and fill their water before they come into the classroom. We can also help with exercise by implementing activities where they have to stand up. Okay, so one of the things I like to do is the Chinese whisper. So there's usually 2 groups, boys against girls, and when we're studying the vocabulary, I would write the words in little pieces of paper, and I would give randomly one each at the back of the line, and they have to start whispering the word until they reach the first kid, who is closer to the whiteboard where I am projecting the images of these words, and they have to run and just, put their hand over the image. That's when we're just starting with new vocabulary. If they want to play Chinese whisper again, further on during the unit, I'll do the same thing, give a piece of paper, the 2 guys standing at the back, they start whispering the word, and they have to choose the image, but also they have to write the word. Okay, so you're mixing speaking and movement, images, visual, sounds, you name it. Okay, so that's how we can incorporate some activities into the classroom and help them move, because the brain needs movement. It will oxygenate your brain. It will renew the brain, just like what we did during the brain break. Just sitting down. You can help the kid renew their attention span, okay? And socialization we can also help with that by creating groups. We think long and hard when we're using group works in our classrooms. So we mix the right kids in a group, right? And that will help them understand better. If they're shy-ish, maybe they won't be so much with their peers. Okay. Working in groups also helps them solve problems. You can monitor, but don't be overprotective. Okay, because if now we know what happens when we love them and we help them create spaces, safe spaces for them to solve their own problems, and what happens when we overprotect them and solve everything for them. Only the amygdala takes place, and it's always like run or attack. They're in that mode always, run or attack. Okay, so be careful with that as well. Don't be overprotective. Let them make mistakes. Mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are good as long as we learn from them. If we keep doing the same thing, the same mistake, that's not good. But we have to learn, and we can help our kids to learn. The younger they are, the easier it is. Alrighty, for either if you're a teacher or if you're a parent, let them make mistakes. Alrighty. Now, please think about the Pavlovian experiment and the instrumental learning experiments. And I know if you think about these two experiments, there are many, many things you are already doing to boost the dopamine in your kids. So if you could scan the QR code and share some of those ideas, that would be lovely.
Yes, and remember, if you cannot access, you can write some ideas in the chat. If it's faster for you, share your ideas in the chat.
Yes, Karen will be working with the chat, and apparently too many people are connected, so I cannot see the online responses unless I go backward and forward again.
So we invite you to write in the chat if you are experiencing some trouble connecting. So we'll wait. Yoga freeze, Rosario says. Oh, that could be a good one.
Okay,
Yoga
nice.
freeze. Yeah.
I imagine something like they have to maintain a position without moving for a little while. Is that yoga freeze?
Camila, the idea is to think of strategies you are trying
Already
to
using.
Yes, that you are using to boost the dopamine in your students. Simon says Miss Marcela.
Yes.
Maria Belen says, my students love head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Excellent.
They love moving around. Playing music, says Jocelyn, while they are working. Sing and dance.
Okay, we'll talk about music in a little while. Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get some of the answers here now.
Mindfulness, coloring also here. And then you have more.
Yes. Yes, congrats my students. Excellent. They get a reward. They won. They're the best. Brain breaks. Very good. Gamification. Very good. Go outside. Yes, they love to be outside. Team job, meditation. Very hand exercise. Yes, like the pinky and thumb. Warm up before start the class. Very good. Class dojo. Yay. Very competitive. Yes, class dojo. Playing music they like. Excellent. Good answers. Okay. We're going to move on because I think you are going to really like the next topic, also about dopamine, but about music. So now we know that we can boost our dopamine with music. It has to be an upbeat song, like the two songs we had at the beginning, like happy, because I'm happy, yes, or I'm walking on sunshine, yes, upbeat songs. So there is a playlist. I didn't do it. It was already there when I looked for it. But they have a lot of songs that are dopamine boosting because they're upbeat, very like fast and like happy melodies. Okay, and this is my dirty little secret. Okay, so when your kids are feeling anxious, or maybe they had a bad day because they lost a football match, or like at the end of the year when we're going through the alianzas process and they find out they didn't win, they actually lost and their moral is down, and there you can even maybe you see some tears among your students. Okay, this is a good song, Wasteless. It lowers anxiety by 65%. There are studies that show this. It's like taking a benzodiazepine. It's like giving benzodiazepine to kids, but without giving a pill. It lowers anxiety up to 65%. So if you combine the song with maybe a breathing exercise like this, so every time your fingers goes up, you breathe in, your finger goes down, you breathe out. So in and out. With this song, it will help your students to feel less anxious. You can use it before Simse, for instance, when you're waiting for the person to arrive. You can have all your students breathing in and out, listening to this song, and lowering their anxiety levels. Okay, I will play you a little bit of this song, and it's called Wasteless, and you can find it on YouTube or Spotify or any other platform that you might be using. Okay. Now, establish a reward system, right? So people can, your students can give each other love as much as they want with your pieces of paper and nice little phrases. You can have stickers, which will actually boost the dopamine in a spike, like the Pavlovian rats, but it will go down. So you have to be constantly given stickers. What I used to do with one of the classes, a difficult class, after lunch, so they're tired, I'm tired, they probably ate a lot, so all their blood is trying to process the food they just ate, and their brain is not getting enough oxygen, and they're tired and grumpy. So what I used to do was to give stickers, and whoever got 3 stickers in a row during the same class will get a bracelet. So they would work for more stickers. So not just 1 sticker, that wasn't enough. They wanted the bracelet. Like that said, oh, I did a very good job today. I helped somebody else. You can either make them or you can buy them. Then the other thing I used to do long time ago was to watch a movie. It wasn't actually a movie, it was a short film, probably like 3 minutes long, 5 tops. And I used to write a movie in the corner of the screen and draw a cloud, right? And I did this because I'm not good at talking loud. And if I yell like, oh, please be quiet, I sound like a rat. So I don't show respect. when I try to get the attention, like yelling. So what I used to do is just put my hand up, like the stop sign, with a quiet sign, and people will, my little students, they would look at me and start sitting down quietly, and they would signal the other kids, like, sit down, she's going to erase. So the cloud was the protective shield. To get the movie at the end, the short film, the movie word had to be written on the board. If there was one letter missing, we wouldn't watch a movie. They could get a letter back if they started behaving well again. Okay, so that's giving a prize at the very beginning of the class. You're telling them, I'm willing to watch a movie with you guys, but you have to work for it. We have to behave well. So like the instrumental learning experiment, rats. Okay, and then this other thing I did last year with Miti Pesos, just some fake money that we did as a class. And we have a bank, and we had a group of accountants, and the bank will give each teacher 25 Miti Pesos at the beginning of the class. The teacher will give the money away according to his or her needs. So if the teacher needed the kids to be quiet, she would give money for being quiet. If the teacher, like me, for instance, wanted to give money for students to be ready to learn, I mean, sitting down with their notebooks and class books on their desk, I would walk into the classroom and start giving money just to the kids that were ready to learn. At lunchtime, we would gather again. Kids will go with their money to the accountants. They would make like a bank statement and introduce the amount of money they won, and keep it safe. And next week, they could buy things. I show them a list of things they could buy at the beginning of this experiment, and they knew how much money they needed. So they were working permanently to get what they wanted. Okay, so that's the reward system I had established. I give stickers, sometimes I put the word movie, and so on and so forth. Then, sorry, connecting my battery. So I recommend establishing a reward system because that will spike the dopamine, and depending on the system you choose, you can either maintain the dopamine level up, or you can give them little spikes, okay? And the emotional memory, okay, we only have 5 minutes left. The emotional memory, very important, because our brain, believe it or not, is easy to fool. It's dumb sometimes, okay? So when you're in a class, think of yourself as the director of a movie. So you have all this squad of actors, yes? And you have to think of them as the best of the best, like the Pygmalion effect. I would tell my students, or my really hard classes, like, guys, okay, we're going to do this today, and it's kind of difficult because a lot of other kids find it very difficult, but I know for sure you're going to do better than everyone else because you're the best class I ever had, even though I knew they weren't, but they needed to hear it from someone to feel loved and secure, and it actually works. Promise you guys, it works, okay? So that's step number 1, Pygmalion effect. Your kids or your worst class, the kids after lunch, the last class of the day, very difficult to handle sometimes. You have to tell them, oh my goodness, you have everything against you. You're sleepy after lunch, you're tired from the day, but you guys, my goodness, you're so smart. You do everything so quickly, and you're the best. you have to tell them, okay? So you're the director, you have to make them believe they're the best, so they will become the best, okay? Now, if you're feeling sad, because, you know, life, such is life, you can tell your brain that you're not sad. You cannot talk to your brain, but you can send the signal of being happy, okay? So if you smile, even if you're not happy, for 5 seconds, just try it with me, guys. 5 seconds of smiling. Okay?
Vamos, ¿quieres ver turno o no?
Okay? Smiling, your brain will go like, oh my goodness, something funny happened and I didn't notice. Okay. And it will start like giving instruction. Okay. We need dopamine and endorphins, you know. It will give you what you're acting. The brain will get the action and it will give you whatever your brain needs for that emotion. The same happens with actors when they need to cry during a scene. Maybe they're not sad. They have to get into the character and they have to give the brain signals that they're actually sad. So maybe heads down, your lips are going down as well, and your brain goes, oh my goodness, something happened, we're feeling sad. Okay. Oh my goodness, I think he's really, really sad, or she's really, really sad. Okay, tears, okay? Brain, produce tears, and it helps, okay? The same thing if you're out of money and you cannot buy prizes or stickers. Whenever they do something nice, do the winning sign. You're happy and your arms go up and your kid's arm goes up and they go like, oh, I want something. Dopamine. And you're fooling your brain. Yes, they want something. So they must, your brain must produce dopamine because you want something. The brain doesn't know what you want. It just reads the signals you're giving it, okay? So remember that. And now we're almost there, 1 minute left. Please share something that you learned today or something that you're going to use in your classroom. Maybe from the ideas that the other teachers wrote before or shared, or something maybe I said. You can please tell us either a number that stuck with you during this presentation, a word, or an activity you're going to use. Remember, if you cannot scan the code, you can write your answer in the chat room and be ready because there's a surprise coming at the end.
Well, here Jocelyn is saying the importance of emotional state. And I said I will use the spread love activity, that she loved it. Carol says, tell students they are the best. Allow hydrating and arms up to fool our brain. Brain breakers says, I don't know, I couldn't see. Javier is saying that. Javiera says that she will love the spread love messages. Reward system more consistently, says Fernando. Rosario also says strategies without videos. They already use it, a lot of technology at home. Attention spans, brain breakers, spread love messages. That's the one. And breaks and spread love messages. Those are the ones.
Excellent. And remember, there are a lot of things we can do to fool our brain. Smile, because we cannot kiss or hug our students most of the time. Whenever they did something good, like, oh, you deserve a kiss. So everyone get a kiss. Mwah, mwah. Yes, or because we cannot hug, like, oh, you deserve a tap on the back. Yes, everyone, good job. Yes, and you made the kids do that to themselves. And the brain gets, oh my goodness, I'm getting recognized. This must be, I did something good, right? So we can fool our brain, guys, okay? Very good. I love your answers. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh,
Yes, the Miti Pesos
Yugapalooza.
activity, the Miti Pesos
Michi
activity.
pesos are the
Yes.
best, yes. I use cats because my theme last year was cats. The year before were owls. So, or some other teachers, they use their image and they stamp it on the little bills. Yes, so any ideas? Many ideas.
Don't go out yet. Remember, there is a surprise for
leave.
you. Yes.
Okay, here you can have all the links for if you found some of the topics interesting, you can go and visit these links and learn more. And remember, or diplomado, estrategias metodológicas para la enseñanza de inglés como herramienta comunicativa integral, okay? And I don't know, Karen, who is going to
Yes,
do...
we have a surprise for you, right?
Yes.
I don't know if Joeli, see. We have a special raffle for you guys who are here, who have stayed with us. Yes. No sé si, I don't know if... oh, okay. Let's see. We have a winner, I think. Andrea.
We do?
Let me see. We have, I don't know if it's still here. Let me see. I don't know if Carolina, I cannot show the picture. It was a raffle, and Carolina Jara Diaz. I don't know if
Carolina Jara Diaz, are you still here with us?
Carolina, creo que
Please
sí,
come
parece
forward.
que ahí está, parece Carolina, ¿no? Carolina.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, well,
Hands up!
you see, apply what you have learned. If you are a
Hands
parent,
up and smile, you guys. If you have trouble sleeping, listen to Waitlist.
Yeah. We really want to thank you, and I want to say, Andrea, thank you so much for this insightful presentation, because it was really useful. If you're a parent, if you're a teacher, I think this is really interesting topic for us to know as teachers, parents, guardians, whatever. So we really thank you for being here today, that you have joined us. Remember, this is part of our webinar, and you can apply if you are interested. So thank you so much for being here in this webinar.
It was lovely to share this with you. I think more people should be aware of our brain, especially parents and teachers. So very happy to have read your comments, your ideas, what you were already doing without knowing maybe, or sometimes we, especially teachers, apply what we learn and we trick our kids' minds. So very happy to be here. I wish you all the best, and have a good night.
Yeah. Bye-bye, and thank you so much on behalf of Learning Academy.
Thank you.
Capacitación USAT.
Bye-bye.
We're
Bye.
going to be
Bye.
recording
Thank you,
it.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
One.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.